What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode 87 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you are new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, round 4 then of 2025 takes us back to Saudi Arabia after a very successful first 3 rounds this season. Of course, we finished on the podium in every single event so far, including a victory last time out in Bahrain. Obviously, very exciting Grand Prix, very close fought Grand Prix of the two Red Bull cars. So particularly those two will be our main opponents, I should think, over the course of the campaign. In terms of our rivalry with Hamilton, our teammate, so far we lead by 6-0 after the first 3 rounds. We've outdone him in every single stat here, which is a rare thing against our teammates in Ultimate Career. But in terms of upgrades, 820 points to spend on the board. Got enough to put a major reliability upgrade onto the gearbox. That come in for just before Imola, so not this race, but the race after next. Still only the 4th fastest car, but the gap is so close between the top 4 that realistically, any of the top 4 teams can go into a race weekend knowing they've got a chance to get on the podium at the very least. So it should be very competitive over the course of the year. Of course, Verstappen leads us by 10 points now in the championship. Piastri in 3rd place, Norris in 4th, and Hamilton down to 5th with Tsunoda there in 6th place, Russell 7th, and Antonelli in 8th. Lawson 9th, and Pierre Gasly rounds out your top 10 in the standing. So advancing time then, only a few days between the last Grand Prix and this one, so no time to rest on our laurels and get complacent. It's time now to head to Saudi Arabia and get the 4th race weekend of the season underway with qualifying.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
So here we are at one of the fastest street circuits in the world, the Jeddah Corniche circuit here in Saudi Arabia, and qualifying about to get underway. One of the fastest sessions of the season here. We're making our way now onto the racetrack. Of course, 27 corners are awaiting us and our Ferrari in our 4th race weekend with the team. And historically, we've been very good at Jeddah these last few years. Of course, victory in 2022, unfortunately had that retirement in the first race there of Red Bull in 2021. That retirement only a few laps to go with a turbocharged failure to my memory. Of course, we were leading that Grand Prix and lost it only a few laps to go. So unfortunately, we'll try and get our own back and try and get a second win on the board at this track. So off the last corner now to run on to the start of our first flying lap. One of the fastest circuits of the season here, 200 miles an hour as we cross the line to start the first lap and go down towards turn 1. Very tight left hand, of course. Good braking opportunity, trying to outbrake the cars around you, but probably braking a bit too early into the first corner. They're going through turn 2, of course, might cost us a tenth or two over the course of the lap. Out of turn 2 and into turn 3, now heading towards the first proper tight corner of the circuit, turn 4. This very complex end to the first sector, going way too deep there and over the curb at the exit of turn 4. Going through 5 now, of course. Be careful in terms of worn rears. Very easy to lose the back end of the car should things go wrong, should the tyres wear out faster than expected. But nearing the end of the first sector now, and going through turns 10, 11, and 12, this short little complex here, and nearing that first split to complete the first sector lap. It's a 33.5 purple first sector, so fastest to start off, and pushing further on now as you go through turn 13. Now towards the end of the lap, into the final sector, going through turn 24. A lot of corners of the circuit, biggest corner count of any on the calendar, up towards through 25 and towards 26 now. DRS in play, over 200 miles an hour, but running out of battery here, so I have to manage that a bit better in our second run. Norris goes fastest, 1 minute 30.9 on the board for our compatriot and our former teammate. Behind Albon over the last corner, charging towards the line. Deploy completely used up for the lap, so we've run out of time here in terms of ERS. Coming towards the line, going fastest ourselves, 1 minute 30.3, so 6 tenths up on Norris. So a fantastic start, but still not the fastest time at the end of the first runs, because Verstappen goes faster than we do here. Have a look at the top 4, have Verstappen from Hamilton, Tsunoda in 3rd place, and we sit in 4th place. But Verstappen almost a tenth up over Hamilton and a quarter of a second up over us, and of course over his teammate Tsunoda as well. On to our second run now. Fresh soft tyres are on and looking at a much better lap this time, and nearing a perfect lap so far. Purple sector 1, only a green sector 2, so lots of bit of time in the second sector, but can we try and get that back in the last part of the lap here, try and take our first pole of the season. Closing in P5 now. Piastri's managed to get himself into P3. Last corner now, improving by 6 tenths, going into turn 27. After the last corner, it's a bit of a slide at the last turn. DRS in play for us on the run towards the line. A bit more battery to use, but again, deployed, used up, but it should be okay. Coming towards the line, it'll be pole position in the end. Only just managed to do it over Verstappen. Be our first pole position of the season and the best chance to try and get our second win of the campaign.
With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
1,000th of a second. It's all that separates us from Verstappen then in the end qualifying. Hamilton 3rd, Piastri 4th, Tsunoda in 5th, Antonelli in P6. Fantastic for him. Gasly 7th, Ocon 8th, Russell 9th, and Lance Stroll rounds at your top 10. And now it's time for the Grand Prix.
Welcome to one of the fastest races in the entire calendar, and while it's one of the newer races on the F1 World Tour, it's already staked its reputation as a fan favourite. It's Jeddah, and it's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Cohen lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly and Ocon, Russell, Stroll, Norris and Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Doohan, Isaac Hadjar and Sainz, Albon, Antonelli, Liam Lawson and Ollie Behrman, Bortoletto and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. I don't want to, but we should look at their recent performances, and I think poor is a universal word to describe them.
It's hard to say sometimes, and it's hard to accept yourself as well. It's easy to go blaming other circumstances as to why your driver rating might have slipped, but it's time for a reset. You got to get back to where you were. You know you can do it. You've proven it in the past. So now it's time to make that happen.
Here we go, then no more talking, time for action for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from pole position for the first time this season and looking for our second win from the first 4 races. Strategy in play then, medium tyres to the start, hard to the end, nice and basic there. Going to try and go a lap later on mediums if we can, try and pull the overcut on everyone else, try and get ourselves a bit further in front and hopefully get us a bit better step for the second stint on the hard tyres. In terms of fuel, load that little bit and now we're all set for the Grand Prix.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
So the medium C4 tyre for the majority of starters here, all except Albon and Hülkenberg are going for the C5, the soft tyre in the start. So we'll have to keep an eye on those two charging up throughout the first stint, but everyone else on mediums.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
So Jeddah then one of my favourite circuits in terms of results in the recent years. Of course, victory here almost came for us last year, but second place for us and try and get that win back. Hamilton lines up P2, Verstappen took a penalty then, starts from P12, so it works to do for Max in the Grand Prix and a good chance for us to leave Jeddah with the lead in the World Drivers' Championship. But Hamilton to our left, all Ferrari front row for the first time this season, a sign of hope that perhaps both teammates could be really on it in terms of tonight's race. The last few cars now, both Saubers take their spots to the back of the grid. 25 laps to the Jeddah Street Circuit coming your way. The lights are coming on for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. 4th race of the season. Here they come. Lights out to the floor. Go, go, go. Good start over Hamilton there. Jumping into the lead towards the first corner. Hamilton gets in, closing behind us. Tsunoda into 3rd place. Gasly into 4th. What a start from Pierre. Down for P3 there in those first few corners. And the Alpine behind us there. Gasly had a good qualifying. Obviously took advantage of Verstappen's penalty and now is running for the podium places. Going down towards turn 4 for the first time. But crucially, we lead away over Hamilton. Hamilton got away nice and easy off the start too. Couldn't challenge us towards the first corner, but that's all okay. Keeps things nice and calm for us. So we'll lead in the opening sector here. And pushing further on now towards the end of lap number 2. Lewis going for his first opportunity for the race lead, going into the last sector here. A fantastic start to the race, the half second in front, but DRS is coming to play. Hamilton in P2, Tsunoda in P3, Gasly P4, and Piastri rounds out your top 5. Verstappen, to my mind, starts out of the top 10, but Hamilton's closing in now, makes his move to the right, again, fighting our teammate, going down towards the last corner here. Lewis on the outside, we've gone way too deep though, off our line, running wide through turn 27, lucky to avoid the wall. Lewis gets away, side by side with the race lead now. Tsunoda gets closing in as well. DRS in play for us only just, but Yuki goes to the outside now, catches us unawares, that makes it 3 wide. Going on to lap 3 of the Grand Prix and down towards turn 1. Going to try and outbrake both cars. We can outbrake both cars. Lewis falls behind Tsunoda and we take away P number 1 once again. Gasly's got a problem. The Alpine's got a problem. This early on, just 2.5 laps into the Grand Prix, and Gasly, who had such a good start to this race, will not see the checker flag. I didn't see lap 4 in this race. Disappointing for the Frenchman. There's Verstappen going past Max, making up places here, but Gasly becomes the first retiree, and again Alpine dealing with reliability in the Grand Prix. VSC deployed, Tsunoda now in the lead, and managed to get in front of us, uncornered exit, but unfortunate for Gasly there, out of the race. Tsunoda getting in front of us, so I have to back to work and get around him when the VSC draws to a close here, and close to getting a drive-through penalty for missing the Delta on the restart here. But getting back to green flag racing now on the midway through lap 3, and Yuki is our next target. Lewis there in P3, Piastri in 4th place, and Russell now takes the last spot in the top 5. Onto lap 4 now, making our move on Tsunoda to the outside of the racetrack, going into turn 1, outbraking the Japanese driver in the Red Bull, and trying to clear him for turn 2. We can clear him for turn 2. Hamilton now draws alongside. Those two guys side by side on corner exit, but Hamilton backs out of it, so P1 for us once again here, and pushing on towards turn 4, and try and keep Yuki at bay as best we can. He had a fantastic start for Red Bull this season. Now Hamilton's got a problem too. Lewis has got an issue. Two drivers early on this Grand Prix have both been knocked out with problems, and Hamilton, our teammate, is gone from the Grand Prix, and that is not a good sign for the next 21 laps or so of this race. One of the Ferraris is gone. How long will the other one last? And our power unit's not looking fantastic ourselves. See, the orange warning light there is on our MFD on the bottom right, so we've got to be careful of our power unit over the course of the Grand Prix. On to lap 5 now, and Yuki going for his next move. Makes his move to the left-hand side of the racetrack, going down towards turn 27. Once again, Yuki with DRS takes the lead nice and easy, but we're going to try and set ourselves up, try and get it back out of the last corner and going down towards turn 1 again. Russell now sits P3, Piastri 4th place, and Norris now occupies the last spot in the top 5. Got an objective to avoid our engine temperature going any higher than 131. I have to keep an eye out for that over the course of the next lap or so. Obviously following in Yuki's wake, going down towards the first corner to try and dive inside if we can towards the braking zone. Can't quite do it, think better with it, stay in line for now, and Yuki holds on to the race lead into turn 1. I see it 64% there, so let's keep an eye on that over the course of the race. It's pushing further on now to lap 6. Yuki trying to pull away here, he's about half a second on us. Russell 3.4 behind, so no concern for us in terms of defending for second place.
It looks like we're experiencing an ERS software glitch.
And there it is then, ERS fault. We've got no battery for the moment. It's the first time in the F1 games the heads-up display actually gives you a sign that the ERS is under fault, but it gets all fixed later on the lap. But Yuki in that time has pulled out a 1.4 second advantage. He's built a fantastic gap there as Russell now sits 2 seconds behind us. So it's down to us to get the skates back on now and start chasing him down. On to lap number 9 now and making our move on Tsunoda, having closed back that gap back in. But Russell has caught us as well, so now it's a 3-way scrap for the race lead. Verstappen in P4. He needs P3 at minimum to try and maintain his lead in the championship if we win the race here. But Tsunoda's our main focus. They go around the outside for turn 4 if we can. Going to try and outbrake him into left hand and we go. Got to give him room on the inside there, because we're the inside line ourselves for turn 5, pulling back in front of him and taking the race lead back. But Verstappen, crucially, is there behind us now in 4th place within a second, so he's in DRS range himself, where Tsunoda makes his next move further on, going down towards the last braking zone. Yuki takes the lead back. It's a constant back and forth here between myself and Tsunoda for the race lead here. Russell is sat there behind us, waiting to pick up the pieces, and Verstappen has just joined the train. Norris is 3.2 behind, no threat from him for now. Yuki gets in front, DRS for us down the main straight. They're going towards turn 1. They're trying to go for a dive this time if we can, heading down towards that first corner, onto lap 10 and nearing, of course, our first pit stop in this Grand Prix onto the hard tyres. Closing in, again, Yuki covers us off, can't go for that dive we wanted to go for, so he'll maintain his lead for now. And Russell has been hassled by Verstappen here in the race for the last spot on the podium, is pushing further on now to lap 12. Those two are pitted, and of course it's down to myself and Yuki now. I assume Yuki's stopping this time with us. Of course, we're changing to the hard tyre to see what he does in terms of his tyre strategy, but where will Russell and Verstappen emerge? Will they be faster on the outlap? Likely they will be. The medium tyres have worn down horrifically in these first 12 laps of the race, and our pit window obviously very short in this Grand Prix, is more or less a one stop all the way through. So in we come now for our first stop. Hard tyres going on this time. They're trying to avoid a pit penalty here as Yuki comes in front of us. It'd be fantastic if we can try and get ourselves out ahead of him. In we come now, optimal turning, and the pit crew get to work changing onto the hard tyres. The medium tyres have served us fantastically in that first one. 2.3 second stop, but Yuki is there in front of us still, and the Red Bull did a fantastic job on their tyres. So Yuki maintains the spot in front of us now as Verstappen goes charging through. Verstappen into the net race lead, so he's had a fantastic run through the pits there. Russell has dropped a lot of time. Russell only just passed us there, going towards turn 1, going to emerge just in front of it if we can, out to turn 2. Tsunoda gets out in front, Red Bull 1-2 in terms of net positions, and we sit now in P5 and net P3. Russell behind us, and Norris is closed a little bit too. Onto the midway through lap 13 now, and Yuki is there in front of us. Max is 2.3 in front. Not as far ahead as he was in Bahrain, as to make our dive here and send it to the inside of Tsunoda, going into turn 13, and only just getting through without avoiding any damage there. So Yuki is now behind us down in P5, we're in P4, and Lawson is holding Max up at this stage of the Grand Prix. On to lap 14 now. Verstappen retakes the lead of the race, we're now right on his tail. Yuki out of DRS range. Russell still P4 falling away, and Norris is giving Russell pressure, going down through the second sector now into turn 13 once again, and closing right up to the tail end of Verstappen's Red Bull here, and going further on into the lap and looking in the last sector for a move for the race lead here. DRS being played for us, going down towards turn 27 once again, doing a fantastic lap so far. Could be fastest lap, of course, no point for that anymore, but he's still going to try and get it for a sense of pride as Verstappen defends the inside, going down towards the last corner. They go around the outside, go the long way round into 27. Verstappen weaving back and forth, they're off his line, going all out of shape into the braking zone. But on corner exit, keeps himself in front. We're still at DRS to our credit here, going down the main straight towards turn 1. Going to make our move back to the outside if we can. Fastest lap for us as we get in lap 15, nearing the last 10 laps of this Grand Prix. Around the outside once again, long way round, but outbraking Verstappen, getting ourselves in front, going towards turn 1 of the inside for turn 2, and back into the race lead once again. So Verstappen took full advantage in the pit stops, but we managed to close him back up and take the race lead for ourselves now. Continuing further on into turn 4, maintaining that lead over Max there. Only a few tenths back from us, but midway through lap 15, Max may go for it again. Our objective is to try and stay ahead until lap 20 here. That's our main target at this stage of the Grand Prix, to take our second win in 2 races. Of course, Verstappen's got 2 wins for himself. It was us and him as the early title challengers in this 2025 season, but Max is on our tail here, and DRS to his benefit this time round compared to us last time. DRS in play for him, ring opens up, making his charge now, going to make his move to the outside of the racetrack, going towards the braking zone once again, side by side with the race lead. Max gets in front, clears us, going to try and dive back to his inside, going into turn 27, getting back ahead on corner exit, only just sliding off the last corner. Max gets DRS here, but whether we'll be able to close in enough, going down towards turn 1 again, remains to be seen. On to lap 16 now. Verstappen makes his move again, darts to the outside of the racetrack, taking the lead back from us. Can we try and send it on a second time? Going into turn 1, down the inside we go, of the Dutchman, keeping ourselves in the car length and trying to go on the outside on corner exit at turn 2. Max over the curb there on the apex, and on corner exit, jumping in front of turn 3 and taking the race lead back once more. And Max still on our tail, going down towards the 4th turn. Snowder there out of DRS range himself, but now going to try and pull away from Max, try and build an advantage at this stage of the Grand Prix. Pushing further on now, in towards the last 2 laps of the Grand Prix, on top 21 now, and Max has been falling back. He's down to P4 at this stage of the Grand Prix. Snowder and Max got fighting for P2, and Norris has closed in and taken one of the cars. Can he take the other one, try and get second place in this Grand Prix the last couple of laps? Russell and P5 also closing in themselves, so Red Bull set to collapse massively in terms of points in this Grand Prix. So Lando's cleared Max now, making his move on Yuki, going down towards turn 27. He's got a fantastic run of DRS, makes his move to the outside. That McLaren is still dangerously strong, despite not being the fastest car in these 30 races. But Lando around the outside on corner exit will get DRS off the corner only just, I think, and down the main straight, going down towards turn 1. Lando pulling clear now, trying to pull clear, get himself in front of the line onto lap 22. 4 laps to go in this thing, and Russell not too far behind either, as Lando has taken both Red Bulls, so it helps us massively. And of course, Verstappen in P4 means that we will take over the lead of the World Championship should we stay as we are and keep the lead in these last few laps now. Pushing on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, 1 more to go here in Jeddah. Norris in P2, and Russell has indeed jumped both Red Bulls. He's into P3. Snowder and Verstappen fighting for 4th and 5th on the road. Those two 11 seconds back. They were the fastest cars to start this Grand Prix, and they've fallen off massively on these hard tyres. And we're leading now into the last sector we come for the last time. 69% on the ICE, the power unit on the verge of some kind of problem here in the last sector, but it looks like we're going to hold out and we can back off a little bit on the run towards the checkered flag. No threat from behind. 7-8 seconds back to Norris, another few seconds back to Russell, Verstappen and Snowder into the last corner now for the final time. Victory here in 2022. We've gone 3 years without victory in Jeddah. We're going to run to the line now. Tyre light comes on, power unit warning as well, but all okay. Hitting the wall there going towards the line, but checkered flag is up. Second win of the season here. Victory in Saudi Arabia. And that was, do you know what, that was a very surprising second half of this Grand Prix. Did not expect to build the lead we did. Snowder and Verstappen both fed off after fighting us so hard for the lead in the first part of this race. And Russell and Norris come home P2 and P3 in the end. Fantastic Grand Prix for us, and another win to add to our tally with Ferraris. Verstappen somehow gets driver today from P12 to P5, but not the victory today. That goes to us.
They've delivered an outstanding performance today and under intense pressure to take a well-earned victory at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So 2 wins for Max then, and 2 wins for us. Victory in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and to my mind, the first ever all-British podium in Ultimate Career. It's taken us 87 episodes, but we've done it now. Russell P2 in the end, and Norris takes home P3. So Russell managed to get Lando right to the death there, but obviously more points for us over Max in the World Championship. Should be enough for us to take the lead here. We'll have to have a look now at the final results of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and where that leaves us in terms of the championship and what sort of lead we've got over Verstappen, and can we take the lead potentially in the constructors over Red Bull? We'll have to wait and see.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
So myself from Russell and Norris, your top three. Tsunoda finished in 4th place, Max in 5th, Piastri falls to 6th in the end, Alonso 7th, Antonelli in 8th, Stroll 9th, and Jack Doohan nabs his first point in Formula 1 with a 10th place finish over Liam Lawson. Fantastic race, and of course Hamilton and Gasly both failing to finish this race. Hamilton down to P7 in the championship. We lead by 5 points now to Max in 2nd place, Piastri 3rd, Norris 4th, Russell in 5th. So Hamilton falling away, but crucially 1 point behind Red Bull again in the constructors. That fight's going to go all the way to Abu Dhabi. Shouldn't be this close all the way through the season. But guys, that'll do it for F1 Ultimate Careers today. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more future F1 content. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Until the next video, I shall see you guys next time. Goodbye.